Hi, I'm Sam with Acme Cone. I'm here to show you how to install a prefabricated square post wrap. First thing, you're going to need your scissors, tape, marker, roller, and heat gun. Some manufacturers require that you have a double-sided contact tape in between the wrap itself and the post. And most all manufacturers require a cover strip in the final product at the end of the product, or at the end of the wrap above everything. So first, what you want to do is you want to establish how big your post is. This is a 4x4 post. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll out the double-sided contact tape about 16 inches. Cut it off. Now, you're going to want to be able to get your scissors wet. It's a bear to cut this stuff. A lot of guys will just spit right on their scissors. Use that. That way it doesn't stick. Okay. You got your piece cut. Okay. First thing you're going to do is mark out your bottom lap where it stops and the top edge. This is going to be your set line. Okay. Once you've got it marked, remove the boot and primer both sides. Both your membrane and your post you're going to want to primer. Once your primer is dried, you begin installing your double-sided contact tape on your flashing. Now, this is tricky. You want to install it flat with no air bubbles. Take your roller and roll it on to your membrane. You want to be aware of your lap. You don't want to get this tape on your lap, because then your product will not weld. That and the primer. You want to keep the primer off of your lap. If it happens to be a little long, you can always cut it. And finish rolling it out. Like I said, you don't want any air bubbles. It's nice and flat. no air bubbles. Okay. Go ahead and pre-fit it. Making sure everything is going to line again. All right. Now, you've got your vertical mark here and your horizontal mark. Go ahead and begin peeling this. Using those two marks, get your tape set in the corner. And begin peeling it. Following your set line all the way around the pipe. Okay. Once you've got two sides set, you can work that corner down and set the rest of it. Continuing on your set line, I'm going to put tension on the lap or on the membrane so that it follows the contour of the pipe and your set line. All right. Once you've gotten to this point, go ahead and take your roller. Again, roll out any air bubbles. That may have occurred. Okay. Go ahead and cut your T-joint and get that out of the way. What I like to do first is tack my bottom lap. Just makes it so it can't move on you and get squirrely. Once the bottom lap is tacked, move to the top lap and really work this transition. Notice a lot of times people have issue with this transition probing up just because they don't work it properly. And you really want a good solid weld across there. Once you've got that done, work yourself up the vertical lap, tacking it. And weld it out. At this point, you're going to want to begin your back weld. Weld it solid around the base, as tight as you can. Once you got a good tight weld around the base, what I like to do is weld out my T-joints. This is going to effectively split it in half. And generally speaking, you're going to want to patch your T-joints anyway, and this will put all your stop and starts underneath that that patch. Press in your T-joints, out to the front. Hold your bottom lap out. You're going to want to make sure there's no wrinkles or anything like that you're trapping while you're welding this bottom lap out. Weld your top lap out. Again, making sure you get you're taking off from a good solid weld right there in that transition. You know. Press in your lap. You get a good nice broadcast there. Now once you're to this point, you want to go ahead and begin your final back weld. This creates an air dam so that it concentrates your heat from your roller on that leading edge. You really want it. So you get a good seal. Now you got a good back weld all the way around. Check it, make sure there's no voids. And begin your final weld, starting at your T-joint, which is already welded out. And bring it out. Once you get to these corners, you kind of want to plant the inside tip and pivot around them. This allows for an even, consistent weld. And you don't have to stop and start again. Once you reach this point, you want to go ahead and, of course, check your seams. Make sure you've got a good, solid, and consistent weld. And then you would apply your primer. So you really want to check your seams prior to applying your primer, just because it can get messy. You can drop glue on places that you don't want it, and it's a bear to clean. So you would apply your primer using the same thing. I would take a square and mark out roughly 2 inches above, or half of the tape if you'd like. Apply your primer and use the same thing, except on this, once you reach the lap and give yourself a good 3-inch lap. So you have your overlap again. You'd start it, you work it around. Once you'd reach your lap, you'd want to put primer on this lap, fold this over, and roll all your seams in. You know, these boots are great because in like a mechanically attached system, you can place your plates underneath of the target itself rather than outside of it, which creates more work, more patching, more potential for leak. This mitigates a lot of that, and it's made in a controlled environment inside of a shop. And you know, all around, this is a really good product and really simple and easy to use. It's taken a lot of the work out of installing one of these and actually having me in the field fabricate a post strap. And thank you for watching. That's how you install a Acme cone post strap.